And welcome in, everybody, to the KLSU Tailgate Show. It is Friday, October 4th, which means it is College Radio Day. Happy College Radio Day, everyone. What a fantastic day. We're live here in the Student Union. We've got some of the KLSU folks out in Free Speech Alley. Like we said earlier, stop by and check them out. Tonight, come see us at 10 Roof from 7 to 11 p.m. We've got a whole lot of good stuff going on. I'm Sean Larkin with Courtney Brewer and Keith Bell. How are y'all doing today?
Happy to be back from a bye week.
Yes, I was going to say, it was sad last week not doing the show because we were on a bye. That was super sad. Like, nobody likes byes. But we made it. We're back. And we will be looking forward to Saturday morning in Death Valley tomorrow, which it is kind of unfortunate.
We're going to be there in 24 hours. Like, that's kind of mind-blowing.
Crazy.
Yeah, we're actually going to be there earlier than that because I probably have to set up tailgate really, really early, which is unfortunate.
That's brave.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hot. Nevertheless, we'll be back in Tiger Stadium tomorrow, and it's great. No more bye week, so that's exciting. We'll get into the opponent this week, but till then, let's just talk about what happened a couple weeks ago with Vandy. I know it was 2 weeks ago. It seems like forever.
Yeah, it feels like a lifetime ago.
It was. It was like
really does.
It was like that, and the game was at 11 a.m., so it was like super a lifetime ago. Went to Nashville. Pretty much everyone went to Nashville and took over their stadium. And we won. Drank them dry. Did everything you could do that we pretty much do in typical LSU fashion. And that includes scoring 1 billion points. 66-38 over Vandy. I mean, is there anything else to say about this offense other than, like...
Wow.
Yeah, like, that's all I've got is wow. I mean, Keith, I know it was a couple weeks ago, but do you remember the game? And were there some things that stuck out?
Yeah, technically the defense only gave up 24 points, but just 2 costly turnovers led to defense touchdowns for Vandy. But, I mean, I think the defense played a little better overall, honestly. You push the 38 points aside, I mean, giving up like 24 to a pretty decent Vanderbilt offense is no small task.
Yeah, and like we said, Vandy was awful on defense, going into the show. I mean, they were just abysmal. We ran the ball. We said we needed to run the ball against them to at least be, I think I had said, just to be over 4. We actually averaged 5 yards a carry to push our season totals over 4 yards a carry. So that was good.
Yep.
I was excited for that. We saw some of the younger guys get in the mix. We'll talk about that because there's some big news that came through this past week that should get those guys more playing time. Mm-hmm. But, again, Joe Burrow continues to be the story. He set the school record touchdown passes last week, which was the only reason I think he was still in the game in the third quarter because he shouldn't have been. But I think they kind of wanted him to get it. He got it. Also, I was looking at this from last week. We did this over-under on the show, and you said 400 yards passing for Burrow, and you went over. He had 398 yards passing.
Yeah, it was
about that. Incredible. So, what a bad beat for you, Courtney. But still, because your player to watch is always Joe Burrow, and I'm sure it will be this week too. But I just wanted to let you know that he had 398 yards instead of 400, so that was a tough beat for you. The offense continues to be awesome. Look, LSU's 4-0 for the second straight year, the 11th time since 2003. They scored more points through the first 4 games than any SEC team during the SEC era. And, 231 points is incredible. 45 or more points in the first 4 games of the season for the first time in school history. We've also had a special teams touchdown in the last 2 games. Trey Palmer had the punt return for touchdown against Northwestern State. And Micah Baskerville should have had 2 weeks ago. But was tackled on the onside kick at the 1, but as the football gods do, they shine down on him and let him block the punt and score. LSU has 24 touchdown drives this season that have taken over 3 minutes. Last year in 13 games, they had 23 of them. It's insane. We're only 4 games in here, so that means there's 9 more to go. I can't wait to see what that number will be later in the year. They've also scored 26 consecutive quarters dating back to the Rice game last year. This is just insane. Just when we think, okay, it's 11 o'clock start, they might start out sluggish. They scored in 4 plays on the first drive, and then Jamar Chase has 1 billion yards and 10 catches and 4 touchdowns last week. So, Courtney, do you see this dropping off anytime soon, or is this should we just expect 60 points a game now?
I was talking about on my podcast. I feel like if you're looking at a trend line, we should score 70 this weekend.
Yeah,
and 80 against Florida. But
So that means about 100 when we get to Bama, which we might need it, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's going to stay within this range, but I do think they'll drop a little bit. I'm expecting more like 45, high 50s.
Yeah.
But I still think it's been insane.
Yeah, as we know, the schedule is going to get tougher after this. This is our last non-conference game, regular season game of the regular season until we get into bowl season. Hopefully that, means a college football playoff appearance, and we might probably have to play an SEC team in that. But for the time being, this is our last non-conference game of the regular season, and it's at 11 o'clock in the morning. Look, this is the first non-conference game scheduled in the morning ever. The 2008 game against Appalachian State was scheduled for 4 o'clock, but Gustav moved it up to 10 a.m. I wasn't there for that, but I can imagine. I remember some people that I know told me it was super hot, just ridiculous. It's the first morning game in Tiger Stadium since 2017 against Arkansas. They won 33-10. I don't even remember that game because when they scheduled this at 11, I was like, when's the last time we played a game at 11 o'clock that was actually scheduled at 11? And I couldn't even remember.
It was Arkansas my freshman year.
Yeah, but I don't remember that game. And I was there.
It was awful.
And
It was really hot.
I wore thigh-high boots and almost had to call the EMT. It was like it was rough.
I just don't even remember a single part of that game. I have no clue what happened in it. I thought that game was at night because I remember us getting the boot from Arkansas and running over and grabbing it. I don't remember that game at all. But nevertheless, that was when we played at 11 o'clock last time. This is the first time playing consecutive morning kickoffs dating back to 1960. And this is also the third straight game we're in our purple jerseys. And I know y'all hate the purple jerseys, but look, we're 87-38-3 all time. The record just keeps climbing. We've had this conversation for two. I do too. I like the white helmets too.
I like the white helmets too.
I'm a big all white guy. Like the white helmets, white pants. I love that. That's good stuff. The Saints have the best uniform in the NFL, and they've displayed it for 2 weeks in a row. The color rush. It's all white. It's got the gold. It's so good. They're awesome. But this is for another day. The offense again continues to roll again in the red zone. 100% efficiency still. 27 for 27 with 22 touchdowns. That's insane. Look, Joe Burrow is obviously in the Heisman discussion, whether you like it or not. You can talk about padding the stats, but this is what happens when you play teams like this. You can only do what you can against who you play. And if he stays in for a full game, he probably throws 12 touchdown passes against Vanderbilt. And it is what it is. The reality of it is he's got the most completions, yards, touchdowns through the first 4 games in school history. The numbers only going to just keep going up. Keith, is there anything you could say that concerns you about Joe Burrow? Is there anything you've looked at and just like, man, he's doing all this, but there's just one thing he needs to improve on. Is there anything of that?
Not that I know of. He had one bad decision against North State on the pick, but other than that, he's been pretty much flawless.
Yeah, the guy's first nationally in completion percentage. And I'm going to tell you, Drew Brees set the NFL record last year at 74. He's at 80.6, okay?
Yeah.
Look, I know that's totally different leagues, but
still.
I think the goal for me, I think I'd said it on the very first show, is we want to be, he was at 58 last year. I would be jacked at 65%.
Yeah.
And he's at 80%, almost 81. He's thrown 24 incomplete passes. That's insane. He's second in the nation in pass efficiency, third in passing touchdowns. Just get on the Heisman train if you're not on it yet. Look, it's phenomenal. On the other side of the ball, which has kind of been a concern for multiple reasons, defense is still only limiting opponents to 24 points per game. They're not playing bad. It's just not the typical LSU defense you've seen. Courtney, is there reasons behind this? Because I think it has to do with the starters being out. There are 4 and 5 guys that have missed time that are very good football players.
Yeah, I definitely think it has to do a lot with losing starters to injuries and to things like that. And it's been really unfortunate to see that. And personally, I'm one who loves to see young people step up. But these are younger people who have been shafted by a focus toward offense.
Yeah, I agree.
These aren't people who have trained under classic LSU defense for a year or 2 years.
Yeah, they don't know how to be out there for basically 3/4 of a game when the score is 9-3 and you've got to keep getting stops. But I think injuries does have to do. It's a big factor. And like you said, I think this works out for LSU because when you get those guys back, you have capable guys that are going to improve the depth on this team when you get into the SEC schedule that have had experience. So it is unfortunate that the regular guys are missing time, but you've still got, this is just going to improve your depth. A couple of guys that have stood out so far. I mean, Jacob Phillips is all over the field, it seems like. Every time you look at the box score at the end of the game, he's just like leading tackles. Jacob Phillips. Boom, he's there. And he's second in the SEC in tackles per game at almost 9 a game. And then the other guy, who we have not stopped talking about all year, is Derek Stingley, the freshman corner. I think he's the best corner in the country.
Oh,
that's just me, but you know what?
Freshman,
as a freshman, he is first in the SEC, third nationally in pass defense with 8. He's averaging 2 a game. And he finally got his first pick 2 weeks ago. Was pretty excited. We ended up getting 2 interceptions because remember we had talked about the lack of turnovers. Jacoby Stevens got 1. Derek Stingley got 1. I'm hoping that continues. Moving on to this week's opponent tomorrow morning, breakfast with the Utah State Aggies. LSU is 2-0 all-time against Utah State. 38-17 win in 1993. 31-14 in 2001. This is the first non-conference morning game, like you said, scheduled in Tiger Stadium. And Keith, when you look at this Utah State team, they're 3-1. They're out of the Mountain West. Last week they defeated Colorado State 34-24. Week 1 they went to Winston-Salem and almost beat Wake Forest. Then they beat Stony Brook. This isn't baseball, so this isn't your LSU baseball fan, Stony Brook. They beat them 62-7. They went to San Diego State, won that game 23-17. Like we said, beat Colorado State last week. Offense is averaging 39 points per game, and it all is just orchestrated by quarterback Jordan Love. He's incredible. There's talks of him being a first-round pick this year. Can you just tell us a little bit about Jordan Love?
Yeah, Jordan Love on the year has so far a little over 1,200 yards passing, 65% completion percentage with 6 touchdowns. But he is vulnerable through the air also because he has 5 interceptions to allow 6 touchdowns. So definitely get some pressure on him and throw some turnovers.
Yeah, I looked at the thing, and that's the thing that stood out to me. He's got 5 interceptions already, especially when he's pressured. He's struggled.
Yeah.
I know this is an offense that is averaging 39 points per game, but they lost 9 starters, I believe, from a season ago when they won 11 games. But he's still there. Obviously, we know how valuable the quarterback position is. Their run game, there's 2 running backs, Jalen Warren and Gerald Bright. I don't think Warren's playing this week, but last week Bright had 179 yards against Colorado State. LSU only allows 97 yards rushing per game, but they're giving up 224 through the air. Courtney, obviously it's strength against LSU's weakness for Utah State. What are you expecting to see tomorrow?
I can tell you what I'm hoping to see is I'm hoping that these 3 games, one of which being SEC, one of which, or 4 games, one of which being SEC, one of which obviously being Texas, have been good enough practice for these young players to just kind of learn what LSU defense is. Because we know what LSU defense is, but if you're a freshman, you've only really seen it, you've never really played it. And so I'm hoping to see more of that against a team that is our last cupcake game of the season, you could say.
Yeah. And then, like you said, this is a smaller school. It's sort of an easier game, but, look, LSU hasn't, they're giving up a lot of passing yards, especially for a school that prides itself on being DBU.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that it goes into not getting pressure on the quarterback, and that's been a concern for me with LSU as well. They only have 11 sacks this year, and there's not a guy on the roster that has more than 1. And that's LSU ranks 41st nationally, tied with 11 sacks. They only have 2 receptions. So something's got to give here. The thing that also is one of the negatives about Utah State, I know they're scoring 39 points a game, but they're ranked 109th in against Texas. They stopped them twice. So another strength on strength there that's going to help. We're going to see where that's going to go, and it's led by linebacker David Woodward, who's an All-American. Fun to watch because this is a weird game. Utah State wins 11 games last year. This game's at 11 o'clock in the morning. So Utah State, LSU's trying to settle in, and Georgia loves picking them apart. Are you going to be worried? Are you going to be nervous because it's going to be early and you're like, oh my God, I'm nervous?
I'll be a little worried if it starts to play out like the beginning of that Northwestern game where we were all just frustrated. I want to get into it as LSU, and so
especially with the better teams coming.
Then I think I'll start sweating.
So then you'll be sweating. I'll let you. I'll text
I'll be
you.
sweating when I wake up.
That's true because it's going to be hot, but we're talking like nervous sweating.
No,
yes.
I know.
Nervous sweating is worse than just hot sweating. Well, I don't even know because I think I'd rather nervous sweat than just be hot.
Yeah.
But you're looking at strength on strength. For LSU, their strength on offense is third down conversions. Defensively for Utah State, it's getting off the field. Utah State might try to run the ball, to set up the action. LSU doesn't let teams run the ball, so that's going to be exciting to see. Offensive and defensive players to watch. Never mind, Joe Burrow's your offensive player to watch. Who is your defensive player to watch?
Who is my defensive player? Am I allowed to pick all of them?
Yeah, that's...
I'm just... Conference game, taking all of that to heart because I've said this in weeks past. You can't have such an uptake on one side of the ball and lose your bread and butter. And so I'm hoping to see the whole defense perform well tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good because I've picked the offensive line as a whole before, so I'm not complaining about that. So obviously Joe Burrow, what are you looking to see? We'll set an over-under again this week.
Oh, come on.
But we'll do this, though. We're going to do this. We're going to do an over-under on 4 touchdown passes for Burrow. Are you going over or under? Yeah, that's easier than yards because, he had 3 touchdowns in the first quarter the other day.
I take the over.
I'm going to take the over.
Okay, over. You know what? I'll take the over.
But I hope to see a couple other people step in and get touchdowns.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, you want to maybe see the running the ball a little bit, get the younger guys. That's another thing that we will touch on in a second. Keith, offensively and defensively, who are your players to watch?
I'm looking for John Emery and Ty Davis Price to get more carries. And Bernard Fournette left the team, so hopefully that leaves more room for depth running back stable to get more carries. And defensively, Cordell Flott, 2 corner, 3-star, but really impressing in camp. Taking over for Fulton into the corner role. Flott's going to be out wide. He's impressed, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do out there.
Yeah, I really like Emery too, so I'm hoping to get some more time.
I hope so.
I've been high on Emery since camp. They talked about him being the best running back in the room, just talking about as far as skill set. I'm glad we're going to get to see him and Ty Davis Price getting more reps. And that's good that was your players to watch because I kind of wanted to touch on it. My offensive player to watch is Ed Ingram. He is back. Look, he was arguably the best offensive lineman on the team in 2017. He started 12 games as a true freshman. He will start at left guard tomorrow. That is according to Ed Orgeron. Look, getting your offensive line, who has been pretty darn good, getting a player that is only going to make them better is huge, especially going into the SEC schedule. Look, they're going to move Adrian Mio over to left tackle, and he's been great so far. Obviously, we saw what he did last week, 2 weeks ago, serving pancakes in Vandy. I mean, it was incredible. Like, every highlight reel you looked at, the guy was just it looked like an IHOP in there. He was just, boom, put guys on the ground, the guy would get up, and he'd just put him down again. It was an IHOP in there, or a Waffle House, whatever you want to call it. Ed Ingram is my guy to watch on offense. I don't know how much he's going to play. The good thing is that I was listening to Orgeron talk. LSU scores so fast, you not have to be out there and be in shape yet, as far as taking these 12 to 14 play drives, taking 7 minutes off the clock. But if that's the case, they can always flip McGee back in there and get, just work in some other linemen. But it's going to be interesting to see him and how much he plays and how good he looks. They already talk about it in practice. He's great in practice. Defensively, Caleb Chason seems to be back as well. I'm to this point where, like, if these guys aren't fully healthy for the next couple of weeks, I wouldn't play them. Yeah. I just, we know what he brings to the table. I just don't think, I guess the football player in him is like, I don't care who it's against, I just want to play. Mm-hmm. And if he seems like he's good to go, then I'm all for it. I don't want anything bad. If he even comes out and just is sore for a second, just get him out of there. But I'm excited to see him back. He's missed the last 2 games. Like I said, Divinity, Rashard. That's just something to keep an eye on. Also, like I said earlier, no LSU defender has at least 2 sacks on the season. Everybody's at 1 or a half. He's played 2 games, and he's got back in a forced fumble. Some limited time, just get him going, especially for next week. Auburn, Ole Miss, Arkansas, the rest of the East. And some
feelings hurt again.
Kentucky. Yeah, and it's probably, what, actually wanted to do it.
Ouch.
I just knew, man, I just know it's like, why are they bad? And there was no response there, and I was kind of worried about you. I was okay, well, But anyways, nevertheless, number 14 Iowa is going. Seven and 6 every single year.
Yeah.
He's there, but Courtney, what do you think about this game? Do you think Michigan wins?
I'm gonna go Michigan.
Keith, what about you?
Michigan at home. Yep.
I just don't know what's going on with their offense. Shea Patterson just ain't it.
Disappointing, man.
He ain't it. Okay. They don't know what they want to do on offense either. The defense is good enough, but it's offensively, they don't know what they want to do or what they want to be.
Really lost. Yeah.
So, I'm taking Michigan, but like I said, glad we don't have to watch that game. It's gonna be super boring. The number 3 Georgia Bulldogs travel to Knoxville to play the Vols. I mean, the Vols are just a dumpster fire right now.
This is going to be a bloodbath.
Look, the Vols are getting 24.5 at home. We're not even picking winners here. Do the Vols cover this game?
No.
Yeah, I say no.
So we're all in the same boat because, look, I mean, we had Jeremy Pruitt last week. Guys getting pulled over, and he's trying to get him out of this. Like, what do we do?
Do you all think he's out?
I don't know how long it's going to take, but depending on how this goes tomorrow, he might be out.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. I think he's out eventually. I mean, it's just with him and Chad Morris at Arkansas. I mean, I don't know who's worse. I mean, Chad Morris, they almost did beat A&M last week, so I'll give him that. But they're still awful, and so is Tennessee. Here's a barn burner here. Vandy is going to Oxford to play Ole Miss. Ole Miss scored a ton of points against Bama last week. I don't know if you guys watched the game.
Yeah, I saw.
I like the quarterback.
It's
quick.
Yeah, he's going to run it all over the place, which kind of concerns me for when we play him. We might, Bama scored a ton of points against them. We'll probably score 100 as well. But it's the element of this new quarterback's in here. He's going to be running all over the place. Do you guys like Ole Miss at home, Courtney? Or are you taking the doors?
I'm going to take the doors.
Okay, there we go. I like it. Being different. That's how we got to do it.
Wow.
Well, I've talked about this, I just see nothing coming out of Oxford right now.
Yeah, if we want to talk about just teams that are in no man's land with Tennessee and Arkansas, I mean, Ole Miss is the same way with Matt Luke. I just think he was the safe choice. I don't think a whole lot of people liked him there, but they're in the same boat as those two teams.
I have a lot of friends from who ended up going to Ole Miss, and I've been down there and visited them for games. And this year, they're just like
nobody goes. Nobody goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. It was the same with Vandy, but at least Ole Miss has been competitive at times. Vandy's just always been Vandy.
Yeah.
But nobody goes to these games. I can't wait to see what this looks like tomorrow. With that said, I'm going to take Ole Miss. just because what I seen last week on offense. I mean, Bama had their starters in the fourth quarter, which is insane to me. Like, I can't understand it. But I'm taking Ole Miss, so we'll see, which probably means Vandy's going to go in there and win. I mean, Keyshawn Vaughn kind of ran it on us a little bit. We'll see how he does tomorrow. Number 11, Texas is going to West Virginia. West Virginia is getting 10.5. Does West Virginia pull the upset?
No.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think we all need Texas to win this because it would look very bad. I mean, resume builders, we're talking. Number 21, Oklahoma State goes to Texas Tech. Texas Tech's a 10-point underdog. Do you think they pull the upset? Oklahoma State, I watched Oklahoma State, Texas last week, or 2 weeks ago, and it was a shootout. It looked like a pinball game. I mean, they were going all over the place. Do you think Oklahoma State wins?
I really like Jula Hubbard. I like Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State.
I'm going to go
I think I am as well, so right down the board. This game, this just shows you how elite the elite college football teams are compared to everybody else. Number 25, Michigan State, goes to Horseshoe to play number 4, Ohio State. Ohio State's a 20-point favorite here. This is a ranked game, but I don't see Ohio State losing this game. Does Ohio State cover? That's what we're going to pick because I don't like doing just wins and losses when you're at 20 points. Courtney, does Ohio State cover the 20?
I'm going to say they cover, but I don't want them to.
Okay, that's good. That's good. You don't want them to. I don't either. I don't want them to either.
Growing up in Kentucky, I've never been a huge fan of Ohio State, and seeing them break into the top 4 is kind of making that.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even talk about this. Like, LSU's not even playing a game last week. They're just enjoying the bye week. Oh, they wake up Sunday. Oh, you're fifth.
You're fifth now, sorry.
Like, what did they do wrong on the bye week? Like, the bye week must have not beaten anyone. And then they're like, oh, they didn't beat, the bye week hadn't beat anybody. LSU's down. I mean, it was pretty frustrating because, like, you've done everything you needed to do on, this whole season. You've got the best win anybody in the top 4 has, and you're going fifth. Like, it's pretty insane. I was mad about it. Keith, does Ohio State cover this game with Justin Fields in that offense?
I don't like what I've seen from Michigan State so far. I like them to cover.
Yep, I agree. I made this last. I don't know why I put it second on my list. This is a game everybody's excited
Game
for.
of the week, man. That's why.
Everybody, game of the week. Everybody is excited for this. I know that's the only good thing about playing at 11 o'clock in the morning is we're going to leave this game.
We're going to get to watch so many great games.
And go to the tailgate and watch Auburn go to the Swamp, play Florida. Florida is a 2.5-point underdog at home. Listen, what I've seen with Auburn, a year we think they're going to be good, they're not good. And then, I didn't expect much from them this year, but they've been awesome. They've got the best front in the country. Their defense is incredible. They back away. Here against Towson last week. You got to be able to run the ball against this Auburn front. I think from what I saw last week in Mississippi State, I think they're going to make it better. Pretty much the entirety of that football game. Does Auburn win this game on the road, Keith?
They've looked really legit the past few weeks, and I think the D-line's going to feast. I like Auburn. Close.
I think it's going to be messy because now that I've been to the Swamp, I'm terrified of the Swamp.
Yeah.
It's just an insane environment comparable to Death Valley. But I'm going to go Auburn. I'm going to go Bo Nix to battle it out before he goes into a long stretch of more road tests.
Low-scoring game.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be really sloppy. I think that Bo Nix has looked well. You're going to see a lot of holds and a lot of penalties, and it's going to be a disaster out there. But the game's exciting. And we'll get to our game next. Utah State's coming in. LSU's getting 26.5 at home. Courtney, we'll start with you. Give me a score.
I'm going to go 48-14.
48-14.
Wow.
Courtney's got the cover. I think it's a cover. Yeah, that's it. 20. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Matt's not good. Keith, what you got?
52-30. I don't think we'll cover. I think it'll be sleepy at first, but
yeah. I've got the Tigers 56-24. I hope we're right. Courtney's got the over. We all have the over on 4 touchdown passes. That'll do it for today. Join us next week. We're going to be previewing a big one, LSU, Florida, Saturday night. Back to Saturday night in Death Valley. We'll also be on Sunday on Out of Bounds recapping this game. We'll be talking some Saints and the rest of college football. Happy college racing, everybody. For Keith Bell, Courtney, Sean Larkins, I'm off. We'll see you next year.